So I'm trying to rush myself along these days so that I'm not taking up a lot of your time. I saw a craft about making stockings out of sweaters. I remembered I had this little ornament that I just loved. It was with a bunch of woodland creature ornaments and stuff last year, and it was just a favorite. It reminded me of a cabin. Anyway, so then I found this sweater, and I already turned it wrong side out. I feel a little guilty because it's a chap's sweater. Really nice, but it doesn't fit me, so it's going to be my stocking instead. I was going to put fusible interfacing on it, and it may work on some of the other material, but because this is so textured, it does not work on there. So I'm going to take an old stocking. I'm going to lay it on here the way I want it. I'm going to cut out a little farther from the stocking because I want to give a good seam allowance so there's room to sew. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a whirl, start cutting. I was going to say, hopefully these scissors will go through all the way. Give yourself plenty of room to sew it together. This stuff is thick. Okay, I'm going to go all the way up to the collar because I might use that for the cuff that's on the top. I don't exactly know yet. I'm going to make this thick, hard to cut through. Take that into consideration when you're buying a sweater. Although for me, I like the certain look of different ones, so that's why I picked this one. You want to make sure you get the shape of your stocking. Going around the toe. I'm going to turn this a little bit. Might even leave that part connected and just continue to sew it when I go around. I have to stand up to get a little more leverage. I'm tired of these other stockings. I didn't like them in the first place, so this is going to be good to get a different set going. I got red, blue, I can't remember what the other one was. So here is the shape, and I might curve this around just a little bit more so that when I'm sewing I know that I'm not going out into that peak. Just make it so it's basically the shape of the stocking so that when you're done and you turn it wrong side or right side out, it'll be the way you want it to be. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this part, but I guess I'll figure that out after I sew it. So it took me a little bit to get this started, but once you get it started, then I'm horrible at not pinning. I'm every sewing teacher's nightmare. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew around the edge of the stocking. And I'm using the outside of the presser foot as my guide as far as how far to be in. Try to keep your edges together, and I think I'm probably going to go ahead and go around the outside maybe twice or more because it looks like, you know, of course it's yarn, it's knitted, it's going to fall apart if I don't. So again, remembering to keep the shape of the stocking the best you can, rounding the edges. My sewing machine's not going to like me when we're done, but just kind of help feed it in a little bit if you need to, because especially this one, it's so fat. I think the other fabrics are going to be a lot easier to work with because it's a thinner knit. This is the rounding of the toe, so I'm going to try to round off the edges a little bit here. Make sure before you start this project you have a full bobbin. I'm known to not prepare myself ahead of time, and then I end up getting crabby because things aren't going well. And if I would have started right, it would have all worked. Again, just kind of feed it in there. I just want to get the edge of that cuff, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I don't want to sew it in anymore. There's my price tag from Salvation Army or wherever it was from. So there you go. You have the shape of your stocking, and then we'll turn it, see what it looks like. I'm going to try to buy, I think, if this cuff doesn't work, or maybe even if it does, I might cut it off and plan on getting some fur, some soft, fuzzy stuff to put at the top. Well, it looks like it's stretched a little bit, but might be able to stretch it back in shape, and I think it's going to be cute when it's all done. You might have to iron it after you get the seam going here. I might go around and round off the edges a little bit more. Here you go. Here's the finished part of it. Of course, I need to put some kind of a hook on it or something, and I might keep playing around with the toe here and try to make it a little more rounded, but I like it. I think it definitely needs some fur, but I am going to leave the cuff on there. So I went and got some of this fur by the yard at the Black Friday sale. It actually was about half off or more. And just cut some strips, folded the edges over, and then only sewed it along the top edge of the stocking. And I think they turned out really cute. I got to looking at the colors that we chose, though, and it looks like 4th of July Christmas. But anyway, I think they turned out really cute. What I did was take a seam off the edge of the sweater that I wasn't using and just cut a long strip to make a loop for each one. And there you go. Merry Christmas.